Next up is going to be the pen tool number 1 exercise. I use these for the demo because most of the stuff that you're going to encounter that you're going to want to create is going to stem from something similar to what we're doing here. This one is a little bit more difficult, but again, if you have another way of doing it, you do not have to necessarily follow the directions. Alright, for example, we just did the pen tool 2 exercise, so you already know how to make all these straight lines. So we're not going to start off with the V and the E because you already know how to do that. But you can see in the directions, it's basically written down exactly how I was saying to do it. Click to begin a new path, hold shift and click, hold shift and click. So anything with those straight points or lines again, you're holding shift for just to make them perfectly straight and not have any awkward angled lines. Alright? But if something doesn't make sense in the directions here, you can of course do it your own way, because there are some complicated pieces like in the C where it gets a little bit of a pain to exactly follow the directions. But if you already kind of have the concepts down of, let's go back to our basics, we're going to get rid of our fill. We're going to double click our black swatch, go back to our, I'm just going to use pink again, let me make my stroke like 5. Again, go back to our basics. Click, 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 all straight edges, right? Click and click and hold, you're going to start to get some round edges. So that's the basic principle with the pen tool. If you already kind of have that down and what the option button would do to convert it back to a straight edge, you can probably blow through this without even reading the instructions. But if you need to follow the instructions, do so. You can just do whatever you need to do to kind of reach the objectives for yourself. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just start with 31. Let's see, no, that's the end of it. 21, the orange one. So it says, click to begin new path, hold, and drag upwards. Now, when you're dragging, you can see the little ball here wants to be in this green area here. Okay? So now you can see we have a rounded, we're starting with a round versus a straight. Okay? So now we're going to come over here, hold shift and click and drag downwards. We're going to release in this green area down here. As you can see, it says that in number 23. Alright? Then we're coming down to 24, hold shift and click and drag downwards to the green area again to release, and I'm just going in order. Now we get a little bit more complicated because we're going to be switching from a curve to a straight. 26 says hold shift and click and drag up. Again, if you're missing any of the lines or it's just slightly off, don't quit and start over. You can always go back with our direct select tool, the white arrow, and fix it up. Okay, so we just did the hold shift and click and drag upwards, and we did that. Oops, I should have not. See, I already didn't follow my own directions. Hold shift and click and drag upwards, then keep holding the mouse button, keep holding shift, and add option and drag down. Alright, what that did was it's converted this to a straight point. It's exactly the same thing that we just did in the last one, where I unclicked and then came back and clicked on the option to change it. And then you can just continue on that way. Okay? But let's try adding another thing to the mix. Let's just say you did half this letter and you saved your file and you had to go and start and do something else. So it doesn't mean that you can't just continue on when you get back because you stopped clicking. So what we can do is we can come over here and we can just continue drawing. See, my line is still there. All I did was click on that point. Remember, I'm ignoring the directions at this point. So I'm going to click and drag because I want it to be curved. I'm going to kind of mess up. And I'm going to click. And then I'm going to hit escape. Alright, so we can fix this up. Remember, anytime you mess up, just go back with your white direct select tool. And we can mess around with this handlebar until it looks right. Now, if you hold shift, if you hold shift when you have a handlebar, you're only controlling one side. So you'll see if you're controlling two sides and one side is perfect, we could also do option, kind of looks like a little butt there. Clicking, holding Option, I'm only getting my left side because my right side's quote perfect. Alright, so don't feel like you can't complete it in sections if you need to go and do other things, because as long as you just come back and continue to draw, you'll finish the letter. Alright, so that's how we do rounded edges and things like that. Now, just as a reminder, there are a couple of pages in here. I have had students accidentally only turn in the vector, so be sure in the pen tool one that you also check to see that there's 2 pages to do. Alright, so there's like the little Christmas tree, and at the very bottom you'll see combining curves with straight lines. It's all the exact same principle. It starts off with straight lines, which we know how to do, and it moves into the curved lines. So it's all the same principle, just kind of getting exactly what the Shift and the Option do with your pen tool. It's great exercise, and even though it is a pain, at the end of it you will be a happier person in Illustrator.